So this title is actually not clickbait. This actually happened. A woman in the UK stabbed her partner multiple times and threw him down the stairs, and she is going to spend 0 days in jail for what's basically attempted murder. This is a very scary trend in the UK that I've talked about. Women in the UK often don't go to prison for any crime, and this is something that feminists have been campaigning for a very long time. And if you're a feminist and you object to me saying that, and you say that's not fair, that's not what I believe, you need to pay attention to this video, because you need to understand that there are some political groups and lobby groups that go under the feminist name that are basically advocating to close all women's prisons and have all women released from prison for any crime, or most crimes, even up to stabbing your partner. So let's take a look. Okay, so here's the first article I'm going to show you, because I got a second story coming after this. Woman stabbed lover with screwdriver after she found him watching porn. Now, when I read this article to you, this was attempted murder. It's crazy that she's not going to prison here. A woman has avoided prison after stabbing her boyfriend with a screwdriver when she found him watching and downloading porn. Now, first, let me just show you what the sentence was, so you have that in mind when you're reading this. The defendant from Whitehaven, Cumbria, was handed a 9-month suspended sentence after admitting actual bodily harm. Now, what suspended sentence in the UK means is that you don't actually have to go to prison unless you do something else. Like if you get in trouble again in the future, then they tack on that 6 months, or that 9 months in this case. But as of now, if she doesn't commit another crime in her life, she will never go to prison for a single day of this crime. So keep that in mind. And she had priors, but just keep all that in mind when I read what happened. Chantel Parker, 31, flew into a rage, smashing her lover's tablet before repeatedly thrusting a screwdriver in his back and shoulder, so by his heart and major organs and arteries, repeatedly stabbing, on September 15 of last year. She then grabbed his throat before kicking him down the stairs at their home. That's attempted murder. The Carlisle Crown Court heard how Parker had attacked previous partners and clearly had anger issues. She has priors of violence. This is not the first time she's attacked a partner, probably because she knows she won't get in trouble for it. Now pay attention to this next part, because this is how feminists have been gaming and influencing the system. And if you're a feminist and you disagree with this, and you think this isn't fair, oh, I'm a feminist, we don't believe this, you need to pay attention to what the feminist organizations behind the scenes are actually doing. Take a look. The court heard that Parker had mental health issues and was, quote, vulnerable after losing a relative in late 2019. And then I'm skipped down below. Recorder Ryan told Parker, "It is absolutely clear from everything that I have read about you that you have got a real problem with your temper. Yeah, she has prior, she's assaulted people in the past, but because she is vulnerable, because a relative died, she's allowed to attempt murder and not go to jail?" What? Now, some people might point out that this isn't fair or accurate because she wasn't actually charged with attempted murder and the actual charge was bodily harm. But I have two things to say about that. First of all, let's just say it was just stabbing. It wasn't attempted murder, it was just bodily harm. Oh, she just stabbed him in the chest and in the shoulder. She's still spending 0 days in jail. She's spending less time in jail than the average homeless person would for stealing a loaf of bread. So think about it. She stabbed someone multiple times, and she's spending 0 days in jail for it. So a 15-year-old boy walks into a store and steals a sandwich. He's probably going to spend more time in jail than she is for this. I mean, think about that. And secondly, why wouldn't it be considered attempted murder? Like, there's something really not right about that. I think this should have been considered attempted murder. Or at the very least, she should get some time in prison for it. But she's spending 0 time in prison for stabbing someone multiple times in the torso and throwing them down the stairs. That's insane. And remember, these are not just random cases. This is now the legal practice in the UK. This is a trend. We have a 2-tiered justice system in the UK for men and women. Men and women are not treated the same way under law because of the law. The law is actually different for men and women. And this is something that feminist groups have been lobbying for a long time. So If you're a feminist and you're watching this and you're thinking, oh, well, I don't believe that. That's not fair. I believe you. I believe there are a lot of feminists who think that men and women should be treated equally in the court system. But you need to pay attention to what feminist groups are actually doing. These big political organized groups are not always acting the way that you think they are. And they say they support equality. But when you actually look at what they do, it's the opposite of that. And now we've reached a point in the UK where a woman can stab a man and not go to jail at all. And the terrifying thing is thinking, well, what's next? And just as an extra, another story, and I could really be doing these pretty much every day, because this happens in the UK every day. This is becoming a very serious problem. Woman stole from vehicle and assaulted emergency worker. A woman stole from a vehicle and assaulted an emergency worker, police in Chatterton have said. Becky Holmes, of no fixed address, has been sentenced for theft from a vehicle, assault of an emergency worker, and vehicle interference, according to the Greater Manchester Police. Now think about it. She assaulted an emergency worker. What's a fair sentence for that? What should happen to her? 0 jail time is what she got. The force said that the 31-year-old has been sentenced 2 weeks in prison, suspended for 18 weeks, which basically means she assaulted a human being, an emergency worker, and she's spending 0 days in jail. That's crazy. This is really scary. Also, just to make sure this is clear, not a confusion for people, the two people pictured at the bottom of this article, the man on the left and the woman on the right, those are not the people in the article. That's just an advertisement.